Castle of Castle does, and this day is a prelude, more or less, to things that are to come as far as really taking things the next step up. So I have um, the previous Safe Shallows area, which is pretty cool. Got all those materials and got the new rock texture, and now I'm just kind of like following more of the rules. Um, for like the model placement and stuff like that. But more than that, uh, there's been sort of like extra sort of planning and talking about uh, some bigger ideas, things that I don't think I would have thought would really even happen. So maybe maybe the prospect of me jumping into ZBrush or 3ds Max and making models that are a lot like the voxel geometry using the same triplanar materials, um, which are instance geometry, and I like using models more than I like using tiles. And the reason why is that there's a fundamental difference between reusing geometry and reusing a instance mesh. Now the instance mesh is geometry, but you could take that mesh and you can manipulate it and scale it, rotate it, jam it in, and put a whole bunch. That's the standard method that we always use in these kinds in open terrain environments. Is you take like maybe 3 or 4 big rocks and you jam them into each other to create these open, these really pretty landscapes. So we have a really unique terrain system in that it's not just a height map, it's actually a full 3D array, if you will. Um, that means that going combining this with the old method allows for even prettier possibilities in reusing geometry and doing instancing in a way that actually really uh, something that I'm more apt to do and can very quickly spiral a place into being high detail and really it's an interesting prospect to go this route and just say, hey, let's give it a shot. Let's try and put static meshes that are actually meant just as level geometry and just kind of get them all over the place, reuse them. So at this point, I'm almost doing busy work right now, and uh, there was quite a bit of meetings and discussion about getting a better experience at the beginning of the game, and making sure that the player has a good starting opportunities and not, very very high end gameplay centric stuff. And one of the other designers is currently in direct charge of that, and my goal is to make sure that I back him up and duplicate any of the stuff that he's doing throughout the rest of these biomes and make sure that it all kind of comes together, because that's my biggest concern at this point is like, appearing professional enough. You have to kind of wrangle things in and make sure that there's a certain level of consistency and things of that nature. So there's just a lot of stuff all up in the air at the moment, and there's more pressure. But the idea of actually making instance meshes could be a really fantastic thing, especially if they allow for a greater level of detail and the ability to have more. It's just quicker to use them. You save time. You make one mesh and then you hand that mesh over to an artist, and then everywhere in the entire game that those meshes are being used looks prettier. But these triplanar materials, they're fantastic. they allow us to take a rock, rotate it like this, and the sand's still on the top. I mean, it actually kind of makes me wonder because up until about half a year ago, I didn't know what the hell a triplanar material was. Now I'm experimenting with a new look for this area to differentiate this from the other safe shallows, and I was just kind of experimenting with that. But the reeds are really cool. Those models right there, they're not being used anything like that. Shit, I forgot what I was saying. Got distracted. Well, I guess that's thoughts gone. Damn it! I hate when I do that. I do in these videos. At least I'm consistently finishing sentences, mostly, most of the time. Uh, I like the blue and the reeds. I might actually do a lot of that in this space. So getting feedback and talking to the other designers and talking to the rest of the team basically. I was trying the idea of kind of wrangling things. I don't know, just getting feedback and like, oh, how's this? Oh, how's this? But at the same time, I was kind of thinking to myself, well, yeah, I'm gonna have to practice being a little bit better at not having to be handheld through this. So there's a certain point where you have to kind of take the bull by the horns. When you work in smaller teams, you have to take the bull by the horns. But when you work in bigger teams, everybody tells you exactly what to do. And if you end up somewhere in the middle, oh god, luck with that. But I mean, I prefer one or the other, that's for sure. Alright, thank you for watching.